Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting video to get into, right? We have the rumors, the updates, the news, the leaks, the usual. But I think I found something potentially for Nintendo Online, specifically for the Switch 2, that would be a massive just reveal, and it's something we've all been thinking about, but now it's seeming way more possible. So we have a lot to talk about. Let's go and get right into this video. So before we get started, I'm recording this video on Father's Day, so I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fellas out there, as well as the lady fellas, right? I was raised by a single mom and she had to play both roles, so happy Father's Day to anybody who plays that role. Now, we have some very exciting Nintendo Switch 2 news, updates, rumors, leaks. I don't even think any rumors actually, just news, updates, and leaks. Very exciting stuff. And I've been saying, I don't think that Nintendo Direct that we got was the end of Nintendo news and massive announcements until, October or something. There's some big stuff right around the corner. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. At the time of recording this video, I need 4 subscribers to have 32,000. So I'm just going to assume I probably hit that goal, and thank you so much for that. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And let's just go and get right into this one. So the first thing I actually want to do is kind of respond, I guess, to this article that was written, I don't know the proper terminology, from Game Rant. And it says, July 2nd is the end of an era for Nintendo. And then I was confused because I was thinking, didn't we already end the Wii U and the 3DS era, right? Isn't that officially over? But that's not what they're talking about. In this article, they're saying that they think this is the end of the era for the Nintendo Switch, and what they mean by that is with Rhythm Heaven Groove coming out on July 2nd, that will be the last exclusive game made for the Nintendo Switch, right? Now, we had Tomodachi Life, which was technically a Switch game, and Rhythm Heaven Groove. And both of these games, they kind of feel one in the same vein, obviously they're not the same games at all, but they're just whimsical and a little different. They're not the big system sellers and the big first party stuff that you have to get, right? So it does feel weird that we would get these games, not back to back, but a few months apart, with some Switch 2 games sprinkled in here and there. And I don't know if I think that's true. The whole point of the article is saying this is the last exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. That would be solely focused on the Switch 2. And it seemed like that was going to be the case. But then with the price hike of the Switch 2, I don't know if it was directly for that. Maybe this came out before or right after, but Nintendo said they're actually going to support the Switch a little bit longer. So I just don't see this being the last Nintendo Switch game released, exclusively for the Switch. Especially if they ever did Twilight Princess HD or Wind Waker HD. That would be a dual release, right? And I just feel like Nintendo has something else, maybe a 2D Mario or something in the pipeline ready to go on the Switch as well. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you think Rhythm Heaven Groove is going to be the last exclusive Switch game? Do you think Nintendo will release more as the year goes on? Or do you think once this game comes out, that's it for the Switch? Only Switch 2 games will be coming out in the future. Now, another thing I want to talk about is it's so funny how this game has been revealed, right? I believe this game was first rated, I'm pretty sure, and I'm talking about Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch 2. It was on a ratings board. Then we thought it would show up at a Nintendo Direct, and it didn't. Then we've seen a couple people have copies early. But you could be like, well, the internet is the internet. Somebody could have made a mock-up. It is what it is. Now, these games are showing up in Walmarts across the country straight up. And what's interesting, if you go and try to buy the game, they will tell you they cannot sell you the game until the street date, which is June 23rd. So we know this game is releasing June 23rd. At the time of recording this video on June 21st, it has still not been revealed. But what's even funnier is, some Walmarts are just like, hey, if it's out there, sell it. And somebody was able to already purchase Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm not sure if they'd be able to play it because of it being a game key card. So I don't know, if the servers are online or how that would actually work. But at the time of recording this video, there is 48 hours until this game releases. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I think June 23rd is the 35th anniversary of Sonic. So I don't know if they just say like, hey, the game is out now and go buy it, or you know what, truly, like I have no idea. Sega and Sonic, both of these should just have all the success in the world, and it seems like they're doomed to fail over and over. And that's coming from a Sega and Sonic fan. So I will be picking this up eventually, 100% on sale. I'm not going to be buying this. I think it's $50. I will not be paying full price. But I thought this game was very underrated. I never beat it. I played it on the Switch as well as a PS5, but I think on the Switch too, it would just be a treat to play. Now, speaking of games that have leaked out through the ratings board, take your pick. You know, there were so many games we expected to see in a Nintendo Direct. It just didn't happen. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, that was another big one. Obviously, Devil May Cry 5, that did make an appearance. You know, I'm blanking right now, but there were so many games that leaked out that we still never seen. And there was one game that leaked out, and it was like, yeah, that's probably going to show up on the Switch too, because I think the previous entry did pretty well on the Switch. But again, the Nintendo Direct came and went, and no mention of it. So, okay, maybe it's not showing up, right? That is until, well, the time of recording this video, it was like a day before. But this game has leaked out again through another ratings board, and I think this game could honestly shadow drop this week. Now, the Diablo franchise is pretty popular. I remember being in middle school and playing Diablo 2 on like a family member's PC. So Diablo has been popular for a very long time. I think Diablo 3 did incredibly well on the Switch. Like, I could be making this up, but I feel like at some point in time I've read an article or heard somebody talk about Diablo 3 doing well on the Switch. So Diablo 4 on the Switch too, it just makes a lot of sense. And one reason it makes a lot of sense, obviously it's a game that people want to play, but the mouse controls, right? Like, there are certain games that they try to wiggle in mouse controls, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty interesting, or that's cool. But there are certain games that feel like they were made for mouse controls, Diablo 4 being one of them. So this game had already leaked through the ratings board in Indonesia. I believe it was Indonesia. Now you can see right here, it has leaked again through the ratings board in Taiwan. So it just feels like this game, shadow dropping at any time, is imminent. If I had to guess, they would probably do a digital release first and then have a physical release come in August or September. And I don't know how they would play that. You know, I don't know the gigabytes for this, but it's like, I feel like it could be on a cartridge. And if I'm not mistaken, I do think there's a decent amount of DLC already out for this game. So maybe it would have that, but you know, again, if I had to guess, a game key card. You know, it is what it is. It sucks. So I could see this being a pretty big hit, though, digitally on the eShop. So maybe this is a week where we just get a bunch of random Switch 2 games dropping. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have some massive news to reveal to you. And this news is coming directly from Nintendo. And the crazy thing is, whenever speaking about the Nintendo Switch 2, and talking about Nintendo Online, it's like, yeah, we're probably going to get GameCube, right? That's what we all expected, and we got GameCube day one, and it's awesome. I do wish Nintendo was doing more with the service. It just feels like, I don't even know what it feels like, right? It's like, yeah, he gave us a couple of games, but what's next? And they're like, you know, we'll talk about that in 8 months or something. So I'm not happy with the output of Nintendo Online. I know Nintendo 64 has like a few more games, and maybe once those are out, they'll start focusing more on GameCube. But you have to ask yourself, right? There's only so many retro games they can release. Once N64 is done, well, then we only have GameCube. So are you trying to get people to sign up and entice them with new GameCube releases? Or do you add more consoles? I've been saying for a long time, I think we do get another Sega console. I could see us getting Dreamcast or maybe Sega CD. I have no evidence for this, but I just feel like it's something that would happen, right? Why do we only get one Sega console and call it a day? It makes zero sense to me. But another console, or multiple consoles people are expecting, are some of the other Nintendo consoles. Like the Wii would be super simple. I heard when you emulate Wii, it's like a step further than GameCube. So if they can emulate GameCube good, then Wii is a no-brainer, and it would be fun with the Joy-Cons, and you know, it is what it is. Now the thing people all want, which adds a layer of difficulty, is 3DS and DS. You can emulate DS games with one screen. You just switch back and forth with like top buttons or something. Some of these retro consoles do it. 3DS, I don't know. I figure you could probably do something the same, but it's not why you want to play DS or 3DS. You want to play it for the second screen. It makes it more fun. Now you've probably all seen the mock-up. I'll be putting it on the screen of like this DS attachment for the Switch 2. It looks awesome. It's probably exactly what something like that would look like. I've asked the question a million times, if this is a real thing, one, does it kill the battery faster, which the Switch 2 doesn't have the best battery yet? And two, how expensive would that be? You know, the Switch 2 is going to be $500 moving forward. The Virtual Boy was $100, I think, and that's like a novelty thing. The DS second attachment screen would be something everybody would want. It would probably even sell out. $150, $200? You know, what do they charge for something like that? Well, all those questions are interesting, but they're kind of irrelevant if we're never getting the DS on Nintendo Online. But I think I found evidence that we are getting it. So as you can see right here, this is a new trademark filing for the Nintendo DS, right? The filing date on this was April 16th. And the status date of this, which it's pending, like this is a pending trademark, was June 12th. And when you look down here for goods and services, it says portable games with liquid crystal displays, protective films adapted for screens for portable games. And then it also says toys, namely toy balls being for games, whatever. But yeah, straight up, this is Nintendo DS, right? This isn't just like, let's renew the trademark for whatever. This is for something to do with Nintendo DS. And then when you go down and read design codes, it says digital music players, handheld video game players, MP3 players, tablet computers, handhelds, video game players with screens. Again, they're just straight up telling you this is for like a tech product, right? You know, you have your phone, you have your tablet, you have your console, you have your MP3 player. All of these are under the same umbrella. And that's what the Nintendo DS would be. Now, me personally, I don't see Nintendo releasing another Nintendo DS. This would be 100% for that second screen attachment. So this is going to be a hypothetical, right? But let's just say this screen is real. And it seems like something Nintendo would do. I mean, it's a way to print money. It's a way to add another service to Nintendo Online. And if we're going in order of release of the consoles, we wouldn't just skip from the GameCube to the Wii. We already have Game Boy Advance. The next step would be Nintendo DS. Now, this is what I'm thinking. We're definitely going to have another big Nintendo Direct, probably in September, October, somewhere around there. And I could definitely see them saying, hey, guess what? We have an update coming to Nintendo Online. And then popping up the Nintendo DS logo, showing a couple of games, and then showing the screen attachment. So while this seems so far-fetched for the longest time, I think it's 100% straight up happening. I'm so damn excited because I play Nintendo DS all the time. I have one behind me on the shelf that is hacked. I like playing it, but it is not that comfortable to play. So if I could play those games on the Switch 2 with two big ass screens, what else do I need in life, right? It doesn't get much better than that. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. Truly, let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member, as that is the ultimate way to support this community, and it would mean the world to me. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.